Objective 1.0, understand the relationship between food choices and health. We are discussing 1.02. You should be able to understand the guidelines for healthy eating. Your essential question is, what are the guidelines for healthy eating? The human body comes in many different shapes and sizes. These differences have nothing to do with being fat or thin. Body shapes is one of the many traits passed down through heredity. Some people have wide shoulders or hips, others tall, thin, still others short and stocky. In spite of this, many people carry around in their minds an image of an ideal body, and they try desperately to reach that ideal. Usually, it's a losing battle. The tall, slender model you might see on TV inherited her shape, just as you did yours. You can change the amount of fat or muscle on that you have, but you can't change the body frame unless you're a Kim Kardashian and you take out some of your rib bones, or you go to the plastic surgeon and you get a change somewhere. But other than that, you can't really change your body frame by losing weight. Your frame, not the fat. So, what is a healthy weight? Successful weight management starts with accepting the body that you are born with, okay? Then you can take the steps to achieve the healthy weight within your body limits. You may never look like the model that you saw on TV or on Instagram or some other social media. Few people ever will. That's why they have surgeries. However, it's far more important for you to be fit and in shape and be healthy, whatever your shape and size is. So be happy with what you have, be grateful. Look at my size as your teacher. I have been about the same size since sixth grade. When people see me in the streets, I still look the same in my 40s than I did when I was in my teenage years. So that is a healthy weight. I'm keeping my weight healthy throughout my life. My frame is about the same size as it was in sixth grade. I haven't put on too many pounds. I've had children and I am still in my same frame. So that I am keeping up with my weight management. And a lot of that has to do with me being in the military and having to do physical activity every day and watch what I eat. I drink a lot of water. And when I was younger, I was outside and played more than 60 minutes a day. So keep your weight management. What can you do to keep your weight management? Go see a health professional. See what kind of programs they may have. Just pay attention to what you're eating. Know your body mass index. How much body fat percentage should you have? How much waist to uh, hip ratio should you have? Have you stepped on a scale lately? What kind of food are you eating? Excess weight can be a health risk, so don't try to do the yo-yo diets, whatever is out. Like right now, it's the keto diet, or you might have been trying to start a weight loss plan that you saw on TV. We discussed that just not too long ago about how media affects the way we eat. Or they have those teas now that you can drink, or people are going to get juices. So, how do you lose your excess weight? Are you taking it off slow and steady? Because you should only be losing about 2 pounds a week. That's healthy. If you lose anything more than that, I'm not sure what kind of program that is, but it's probably going to come right back very fast. Excuse me. There are some red flags you should look for when you are trying to go on a diet or a weight management program. Number one, recommendations that promise a quick fix. No, you can't lose 10 pounds in one day. That is something that is a red flag. Number two, warnings of dangers from a single product or regimen. So you ever watched a commercial and it tells you that it has a weight loss program, and then it has all this extra verbiage at the bottom of the commercial, or somebody's talking very, very fast at the end? That might be a red flag. Number three, claims that sound too good to be true. So they hire all these celebrities, say, yeah, I take this and it works for me. Not really. They get paid lots and lots of money to say that. Really doesn't. They probably didn't even do any kind of research on it. Number four, simplistic conclusion drawn from a complex study. So if you did this big study and you studied all these people and these results, why is your study only one page? Why would I go to the publications and look at your study? It's not even lengthy or detailed. That's a red flag. Number five, recommendations based on one single study. So I can't just study one race group and say it's going to work for the rest of the race group. I can't study African Americans and say it's going to work for Caucasians. I have to study everybody. So if they just study one single study group, then that's a red flag. Six, dramatic statements that are refuted by scientific organizations. So the USDA has their own publications. If you go to a Food Network or some other food scientific study network, they'll probably have all the people that are for real, that actually did real studies, that things actually do work. If they are not listed in those publications and they don't have anything to back them up, you might want to step away from that product. Number seven, list of good and bad foods. You shouldn't eat that because it's not good for you, or you should eat with us because we're better than them. And you ever seen the commercial with probably, let's say Chick-fil-A, eat more chicken, and then they have a cow. Yeah, we like Chick-fil-A, but they don't have to go to that extent to sell out beef when they're trying to sell their chicken. So if an ad comes on or commercial comes on or somebody tries to say, well, don't eat that, that's not good for you, you should eat this. Why are you pushing that on me? It sounds too good to be true. Red flag. Number eight, recommendations made to help sell a product. Right. So the USDA, a lot of government companies are getting paid under the table to say this product is good. We've done a lot of research on cow's milk, but come to find out, milk can hinder a lot of people digestive systems working. So as you can see, a lot of different other milks are coming out. You got your almond milk, your soy milk, any other types of milk. So when they are trying to push and sell a product, you got to wonder why. Number nine, recommendations based on studies published without a peer review. Who looked at your publishment? Did you just publish it yourself? Who approved that? Who gave their stamp of approval? You got to look into these people's studies. They say they study, but who did you study on? And who approved that? So that's a red flag. Recommendations for number 10, recommendations for studies that ignore differences amongst individuals and groups. Like I said before, I can't just ignore all the other groups here in the United States. I have to study everybody. I can't just pinpoint on one person and say it works for everybody else. So that's a red flag. Studies have shown that overweight, meaning weighing more than 10% over your standard weight for your height, is a risk for your heart disease, diabetes, cancer, and high blood pressure. For many people, losing weight is a positive step towards better health. If you begin a weight management program now, then you can live a better life. But you should always consult a health provider to ensure management of other health conditions. If you see here, you can see how people are underweight at a healthy weight, overweight, and obese. So in the military, they told me that I was overweight, but that was just military standards. For someone my age and my height, for the amount of children that I have in the United States, I'm pretty good. I'm not that overweight. but I was probably 2% overweight. And what they would do is measure your neck, measure your stomach, and measure your hips to see where you are actually overweight. And most of my weight was top heavy, and it was able to get weighed. So it just depends. You may talk to your health provider, see what kind of overweight are we talking about. Those who might need to lose weight, you can decrease your calories. So if you're a sedated person, you just sit around all day, decrease your calorie intake. But if you um, work out a lot, you might want to increase your calorie intake. Maintain an adequate nutrient intake. Try to eat foods from different areas. Have a plate that's very colorful. And if you're trying to lose weight, of course, you need to watch your diet and exercise more. You can go run a track. You can go play a sport. You can just walk. I've known a person who drank 2 gallons of water a day. They ate a good meal and they walked for 2 hours. And when I tell you that person lost weight just like that, it was amazing. I'm like, who is this different person? But they was very determined to lose the weight and they dropped it very fast because they drank plenty of water and they exercised and they ate a lot of nutrients that they needed for their body type. So it can be done, but aim for a slow weight loss versus a rapid one. If you take it slow and steady, then you can keep that weight off longer. But if you try to hurry and quickly lose weight, then it's probably going to come back if you're not determined to keep it off. What if you were that person that was underweight, like my son? He is underweight. So, in order for him to join the Air Force, he has to meet a certain weight criteria. And he's under like 2 pounds. So, all he has to do is drink some water when he goes to the MEP station. But if you are underweight in the military, you can also be counseled and kicked out the military. So you have to maintain a healthy weight. How do you gain more weight though? If you were just eat a little bit more larger portions from the 5 food groups, eat regular meals, enjoy healthy snacks between meals, and try to avoid all that high sugar and fatty snacks like candy and chips and french fries. You should rely more on nutritious meals and snacks such as yogurt and maybe some dry fruit and nuts. My son, it's hereditary for him to be tall and skinny because of his dad's side of the family. So he has to work extra hard to gain weight. And another way he can do that is just adding muscle, eat some protein. And so he'll be able to gain more weight. Some specific populations that we do need to pay attention to when we're looking at a healthy weight is overweight children. When you take your child to the doctor and they tell you your child is overweight, what do you need to do? Well, you need to stop giving them food every time they cry. They don't need food every time they cry. And switch out that milk that's causing them to be fat because there's a lot of fat in milk. So if they're over the age of 1, you might want to switch to a low-fat milk. Give them more water in their diet versus juice. A pregnant person, you should gain at least 60 pounds when you're pregnant to have a healthy baby. You're going to drop all that anyways after you have that baby. So a 60-pound weight gain is a good healthy weight for a pregnant woman. You also need to pay attention to all the nutrients you're intaking and take your folic acid and your vitamins to make sure that you have a healthy baby and they don't come out with any diseases. Breastfeeding women, you cannot be drinking, smoking, and doing all of the above when you're breastfeeding a child. Whatever you eat and intake your body, it goes to your child. So pay attention to that when you are either married to someone who's breastfeeding or if you are the person that's breastfeeding. Be aware that you should be watching what you eat. Overweight adults, what do they need to do? They need to exercise more, get up out their chair and go outside, take a walk, do some activities, go take a class, take a yoga class. Stop being so stressed over every little thing because that adds pounds too. Stop eating things that you don't need to be eating. Just pay attention to your diet. Eat healthy. Drink more water. So what if a child had a chronic disease? Then they need to go to the doctor to specifically get a diet. Many hospitals have a specific area just for children and to watch their diet. In Charlotte, at Charlotte Mecklenburg, they have a hospital where on a first floor they have a specific area for the children with diseases, chronic diseases, and they feed them a specific diet. They don't go to the regular cafeteria like everybody else. So those are some specific populations that we should be looking at. Again, overweight children should grow into their weight rather than limiting their food. What parents usually happen, they are overweight and they want to make sure their child is not overweight. So they will limit the food intake from their child so their child won't end up being overweight like them. But those children learn those habits very early. So if you're limiting your food from your child, then they're going to learn that habit and continue that and won't have a healthy weight until their mind is changed. The cycle is changed. So they will grow into their healthy weight. Just give them the foods that they're supposed to have. There's plenty of books and nutrition books out there that you can read to be able to make sure your child is fed healthy. So they will maintain growth and development. They will need to be at their height. Don't stunt their growth by not feeding them the right nutrients. And I say the right nutrients from the 5 food groups. Water is very important, so make sure that they drink plenty of water. Consult a healthcare provider before you put your child on a weight loss program. You're not a professional. You can read as many books as possible, but you might want to check with the doctor to find out what's good for your child. As I stated before, pregnant and breastfeeding women need to watch what they put in their mouth because they're feeding not only themselves but through a stream for their child. So a pregnant woman would gain at least 60 pounds, and whatever she eats, she's feeding that child those nutrients. A breastfeeding woman is still feeding those nutrients to their child through their breast, so they need to make sure that they are eating healthy as well. Don't compromise your weight gain for an infant. I know a lot of people want to make sure they drop all those pounds after they have their baby. They go walking and they do everything they can, but make sure you're still eating a healthy diet and you're drinking your water. We all want to make sure that we physically do something every day. For someone in their teenager years, they need to be outside at least for 1 hour a day. If you remember when you was in daycare, they used to take you outside probably 2 or 3 times a day. That will equal up to 60 minutes a day because that's required by the state. When you get to high school, it's not required that you go outside for 60 minutes a day. But when you go home, you can ask your parents if you can go out for a walk or do some kind of physical activity outside for 60 minutes. So reduce just sitting at home, watching TV, being on your social media, playing Fortnite, whatever it is that you're doing. Reduce those activities and move around more often so you can get some physical activity. Do moderate intensity physical activity on most days and then do a vigorous one on another one. So like in the military, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we would do very vigorous activities. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, we will calm down and do some stretches. So for adults or when you go into your adulthood, you should maintain the adequate nutrition that you had in high school. Don't just change your diet because you're making a little bit more money and you can go out and ball out and buy all this expensive stuff that you weren't able to do before. That's not good for you. Still maintain your adequate nutrition and increase your activity. Yeah, you have a car now. You can go out and do more things. Go do exercise, yoga, go do any kind of swimming activity, something that causes you to increase your exercise regimen. Some people may need to speak to their doctor before they go and do all these different types of exercises because they may be overweight or they might have some kind of health problem. So make sure you talk to your doctor before you go on some kind of weight loss program or get a strenuous activity level. In the military, we always started off with a stretch. You do your stretch. You do your activities right there on that field. It could be jumping jacks. It can be doing monkey bars, some kind of activity. And then you'll go out for a run. For people who have injuries, they go for a brisk walk. and they'll walk and walk for the time that we were out running. So you want to start off slow, stretch out, do a little bit of activities, and then go do a run or some, maybe if you want to join a dance class or something. They're going to start you off very slow, and then they're going to go into a fast dance by the end of the class. So that's how you want to do your fitness activities. This slideshow was given by DPI North Carolina, and also the information was given from Food for Today textbook and the knowledge from Miss Mack.